No, we're jumping right in. We're doing this.
Motto's great.
My wife says Motto is great. She has played this game. I again have not. So this is kind of a cold read. Hopefully my voice holds up. And
Let's all jump in because it's great.
and my lovely wife is standing in the gap. If I can't do it, she will jump in and read for me. So authentication. I don't know what this is. Can I type something?
Doesn't matter.
I can. Doesn't matter. Well, I mean, don't most people usually do one of these? 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go.
What is wrong?
That worked. 9 times out of 10, when you don't know what the password is, it's that. People are lazy. Okay, again, this is a Spooktober game. Wow, I can't speak. Spooktober Jam game developed in 1 month by Motto. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this. So go ahead and hit start. Oh, and I just wanted to check. Seems like the volume is okay. Would somebody in the chat, if you're there, and if the volume is too high or too low, just give me a shout out, let me know. Over 2 decades ago, Dr. Iris Kai wrote me a recommendation for an up-and-coming international security agency. Back then, I was overjoyed. I had chalked it up to the usual trajectory of high-flying scientific careers. Getting into a growing field early, do good science while the fires of invention are still hot, then dip out with distinction before the coals grow cold. But maybe I was just projecting. The first time my name showed up in a cybernetics textbook, I called my parents and invited my friends to dinner at my favorite restaurant. Compare that to half a year ago when I got a write-up in the East Coast Medicine Review. I didn't even open the copy they sent me. I thought Iris's Inui was a little more advanced than my own. It was a nice party.
Ennui.
Ennui, thank you. I knew I was getting that word. I thought Iris's ennui was more advanced than my own. It was a nice party.
You can also pronounce the French and Psycho Killer.
She was surrounded by friends and coworkers, lauded by her peers, and praised by her subordinates. And the whole time, she looked hollow. Fear of retirement, I theorized. It couldn't be further from the truth. Stop. The organization I've dedicated my life to has always been at the forefront of cybernetics. Oh, I'm not saying stop. Stop is the organization. The bleeding edge, some would say. Yet they're pushing all the wrong boundaries, taking science, my science, in a cruel new direction that I cannot abide. My research is being used to experiment on children. That can't be IRB approved. Can it? Is there an IRB? What about a DSMB? Like, who's... Okay.
Eugene's still watching.
Yeah, Gene Machine is here, so...
Gene Machine's going to comment.
He can maybe weigh in.
Yay, Gene Machine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about private industry, but that's really frowned upon. Okay.
You're going to have so many opinions. I love it.
But I'm not powerless, and the architects behind these new programs aren't fools. If I can present a proper case against this, show them the pain hidden between the numbers and the suffering they're whitewashing over in pursuit of percentage points, I have hope that things can still be made right. But that hope is dwindling. I thought I granted peace to the world with my research. Maybe all I did was read the new Nero. What does that mean?
Killed while Rome burned.
G Machine says we're clipping this too. Okay, I'll go ahead and clip it. What did I do?
I look forward Terry.
Sorry for messaging you at this hour. Couldn't sleep. Having second thoughts? No. My transfer's already been approved. Next Monday I'm entering the Youth Training and Development Initiative as a supervisor, but, Iris, you've worked with STOP longer than I have. Can you tell me anything else about the YTDI? Nothing that'll help you sleep. Well, that's reassuring. I still can't believe this is happening. STOP's full of scientists, not... I never oversaw any of the projects directly. By the time the YTDI was founded, I was already on the way out. From my understanding, the program was based on your research. Specifically, the younger the patient, the better the cybernetic sync rate. That report was intended for STOP agents, not anyone under 18. Cybernetic enhancement is major surgery, even if we're giving someone a new eye or ear. There's all the anesthesia involved, intense PT regimens. Some volunteers needed immunosuppressants to sync with their enhancements. Can you imagine how painful that would be for a child? Well, higher-ups clearly felt differently. To them, the Youth Training and Development Initiative is for the greater good, educating and rehabilitating underprivileged children. So just want to think about this for a second. Greater good is important. And, you know, if the subjects benefit, then that is kind of hard to argue with. If there's direct benefit to the population, the study population, then maybe it is a good thing. How does grafting dangerous technology onto a child have any positive outcome? What's the point? Where's the greater good in that? Oh, okay. When STOP was founded, that good was clear. Back when the world was in turmoil and cybernetics were getting slapped on terrorists and rebels in vet clinics and garages, STOP put an end to that. We put an end to that. Then we kept going, so it wouldn't happen again. And because we kept going, the world's now the safest it's been in decades. From presidents of the countries to STOP's very own higher-ups, the people in power are pleased with the new state of things. And they'll do anything they can to keep them that way. Like I said, not the best conversation topic if you're looking to put your mind at ease. But do try to get some rest, Deidre. From the sounds of it, you have a long week ahead of you. I'll do my best. May 13th, 27X. 2070 something. My first impression is that this place is beautiful. Natural light trickles through frosted glass, enveloping the courtyard below in a warm, if not softened glow. From the bridge I'm on, I can even see green. Grass, flowers, trees, an oasis of natural beauty, full of life, and full of laughing children. I can't help but wonder if I made a wrong turn. There's no stark surgical scrubs, no hospital gowns, and the air smells clean, not disinfected. But my eyes are inevitably drawn towards the towering column that pierces the building's center. It's a dark monument with few doors, no windows, and a very heavy shadow. My skin prickles. What purpose could... Not lost already, are you? My train of thought's grim path is cut short by a familiar, husky voice.
Angie, it's wonderful to see you again.
Oh, we've got voice acting in this game. Okay. Same to you, Deidre. As usual, her choice of words is formal, but I recognize the warmth hidden underneath them. It's been a long time since we've talked face to face. For sure. I didn't think we'd get to work together again. But not every career path's a straight line, right? No, definitely not. Happy as I am to be working with you, I was surprised to learn that you wanted to transfer here. To me, you were always married to the craft of cybernetics and nothing else? Ha! I guess that's one way of putting it. I suppose there's more to me than meets the eye. I suppose there is. So, I understand you're planning to write a case study on the work you're doing here at the YTDI. You were always more interested in theory than application. But then again, you're always a pioneer as well. I mean, it's a new program based on my research. Why wouldn't I want to observe it? Oh no, I think it's fantastic having you, of all people, here. In fact, no. I don't want to get too deep into discussion on your first day. Your time's valuable, so how about I give you a tour? Oh? Well, I did request one, but you don't have to. No, trust me. There's a lot here, more than we could cover in one day. But we should be able to go over the basics. And who better to help you find your footing than an old colleague? All right, all right. Where to first? Awesome. I'm not a professional tour guide, but I'd say the courtyard would be the best place to start. Lead the way. Character animation is like all the different expressions, a lot of movement. It's very, very good. So that's why there's so much greenery. Of course. Oh, I have a message on the... Sorry, I'll hold on one second. We want our trainees to be as healthy as possible, both physically and mentally. And while it might be hard to see it on an MRI, being around trees and plants really does do wonders for the brain. No, Angie, I believe you. Actually, I think I feel it myself. We install it all for the trainees' sake, but if it helps the staff stay sane as well, that's a nice bonus. That reminds me, you should see the classrooms too. So, we'll take these stairs and go through these doors. Oh, after you, of course. And if we just go down this hallway, kind of a funny aside, I work in an academic setting that does research, and it looks kind of like this. We're here. Bit of a walk, isn't it? Must be easy to get lost. I suppose. But you get used to it. Anyways, this is where the trainees get educated. Oh. And what does that entail? Well, we've got all the core essentials. Maths, literacy, self-defense, and phys ed. Pardon? Physical education. No, I mean self-defense? Oh, don't make that face. It's not that serious. Gym mats and padded gloves and whatnot. At their age, the trainees couldn't hurt each other even if they tried. And do they ever try to hurt each other? The world's a dangerous place. Our trainees know that better than anyone. The earlier we teach them how to protect themselves, the better off they'll be. I suppose you're right. Bit of an awkward conversation here. I feel like we're at odds in what we believe is right for young children. But it's not all schoolwork and drills. They get to do fun stuff too. I mean, we passed an arts and crafts center just a moment ago. You should see some of the stuff they make in there. We might have the next Mark Rothko or Agnes Martin on our hands. I nod as if I know who those people are. I don't know who Rothko is? Okay. Fine art never was a favorite subject of mine. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Well, I'll have to check it out another time. Yeah, you oughta. Maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. You're here to do a detailed case study on a single trainee, correct? Yes, that's right. Why do you ask? Well, we've got a class going on right now. Should be literacy at this time of day. You're suggesting I choose my case study subject right now? Could give you a much better idea of what we do, seeing how the trainees actually go about their day. Come on, look over here. Don't worry, they won't notice us. They're all preoccupied with writing exercises, it looks like. This is a classroom? I've been in medical libraries with more noise. They're very well behaved. You can thank the people who designed the core curriculum for that. Our trainees are showing a 34% increase in memory retention compared to a same-age control group, short and long term. That's very impressive, isn't it? The bell could ring right now and they'd still be glued to their work. If this were any other education program, they'd all be fiddling with their fine liners, glaring at the clock, doodling in the margins. Like that child over there? Right, that one. He's a bit of an outlier statistically. Really? But I thought your curriculum was, well, it's not 100% effective. Sometimes you get stragglers. But we don't leave them behind. All they need is a little extra motivation. There, the teacher's already taken notice. He's taking him to the front of the classroom. Is he being yelled at? Yelled at? The teacher might be raising their voice. Hold on. Why are the other children lining up with him? They didn't do anything wrong? Well, that's the extra motivation I was talking about. All new trainees get sorted into squadrons. Squadrons? Like soldiers? Like birds, I'd say. They're close-knit. We expect each squadron to fly at roughly the same pace. So if one member underperforms, the entire group is made aware of it. I know it all looks a little inflexible, but they're better off learning these rules early. I'm not sure that... He smiled at me. Oh, they're supposed to stand perfectly still for a full 5 minutes, so that's... Might have to refocus. I've made my decision. Oh, good. So which trainee... I want that boy to be my subject. May I ask why? I can't give a concrete answer. I suppose I'm going with my gut. That's not very scientific. Then why don't we call it an intuitive choice made by one of the world's leading cybernetics researchers? As I said, that particular trainee is something of a statistical outlier. Then taking a closer look at him should help us correct any inefficiencies in the program, no? I suppose I can't argue with that. All right, Dee. Here's where his quarters are. You're certain this is the one you want to use for your case study? Again, I've made my decision, Angie. Right, right. Just wanted to confirm. Trainee CO458. I repeat, trainee CO458. You've got a visitor. Oh, we don't give them names? Come over here and greet her.
Huh? A visitor?
Make it quick, please. She's a very busy lady with a lot to get done today. Oh. Wait a minute. You're the lady I saw in class. Yes, yes, very good. What's S4174 doing behind you? Shri wanted to come, so I let her. This really doesn't concern her. S4174, you can... It's not a big deal, is it? What's the harm in getting introduced to his roommate? Right. CO458, this is your cue to introduce yourself.
Well, allow me.
In a normal, timely manner.
Nice to meet ya. I'm Pavel. Though most of the people here only call me CO458.
Nice to meet you, Pavel. A number? Standard procedure. We try to keep things double-blind around here as much as possible. Plus, the first class had like 3 Emmas and 4 Quins, so... Right. What about you, lady? What's your name? Deidre. Deidre Destrange. You can call me Dr. Deidre if you want. Oh, not Dr. Destrange. I kind of like Dr. Destrange. Dr. Deidre? Dr. Deidre. Dr. Deidre. That's a nice name. Has anyone ever told you that? No, recently. Oh, do you want to introduce yourself too? Well, the floor is all yours. Hello. I'm, Shreya. You got this, Shri. Look, Dr. Deidre's waving to you. Oh, she's shy. Shri is my roommate. Normally we stick together. If I'm around, chances are she is too. I see. You two must be very close. Oh, we're besties. We never go anywhere without each other. Except for class. I wish we weren't in different squads. Hey, Dee. Not looking to interrupt here, but we don't have all the time in the world. I still need to show you around the research labs. Okay, let me just wrap up here. It's nice to meet you, CO458. Starting next week, I'll be interviewing you. Interviewing me? About what? About your hobbies, your classmates, your future. Lots of things like that. I want to know how you and your fellow trainees are doing in this program. Oh, I can do that. But I'm confused. Why me? Because I picked you specifically. And why did you pick me specifically? You stood out in class. I saw you and I thought you'd be interesting to talk to. Makes sense. My teacher says I'm like a dandelion in a field full of roses. That's one way of putting it. But wait, what about your friend? Just because I'm interviewing you doesn't mean you can't stick together.
Sound reasonable?
Yeah. It's a deal.
I love the quiet introductions. The way the scenes kind of quietly unfold. Sorry if I rushed you a bit back there. And if I came across as grouchy earlier, it's just, I've been working a lot of hours lately. It's tough out here. Angie, it's fine. Not like I was much better in the past. Oh God, don't remind me. When you were taking lead on artificial organ development, it was like you were in a trance. If I gave you one little tap on the shoulder, you'd snap up like a cobra or a rake. Yes, I remember how you put it. Those were dark times. By the time we pushed through development on the spleen, I never wanted to see another culture sample as long as I lived. Here. So, Angie, about those research labs. Right. From here, the fastest route would be... Case study report. May 13th, 2070X. Initial supervisory report. Though it has been advertised as a youth education program, it is my understanding that the purpose of the Youth Training and Development Initiative, YTDI, is to prepare its trainees for cybernetic enhancement and eventual employment within STOP. While it is known that biotech synchronization rates are inversely correlated to age, the side effects on individuals below the age of 18 are not fully understood at this time, and may be more severe than they would be on an adult mind and body. Furthermore, I have concerns about the purpose of the program and how its participants are selected. As supervisor, it is my intent to observe the YTDI's operations and ensure that the health and well-being of its trainees are being properly upheld. As part of my duties, I intend on engaging in a focused case study of trainee CO458 to observe his development under the YTDI's curriculum. For compliance purposes, our one-on-one conversations will be recorded. Dr. Deidre DeStrange. June 13th, 2070X. This looks familiar. Except for the copy of Roachman. Really quick, I'm going to take this opportunity to take a short break, get a drink, kind of refresh. It's been just over 2 hours, so I will be right back. Okay, thank you all for waiting. Back we go. Once more into the breach, dear friends. Okay, looks like I can look at the computer, so let's go ahead and do that. Interview with CO458. June 12th, 2070X. Excuse me.
All right, CO458. I've started recording. Before you fall over from all that wiggling.
Yay!
I'm just super excited. I'm glad to hear that. But you can relax. We're just talking today. Really? Whew. My cheeks are numb from all that grinning. I can imagine. I did the same thing in my school photos. You did? But I stopped because, well, it made me look like a dork? Harsh, but true. You still kind of do. Sasspot? Right. Have you ever been called something like that before? A dork? No, never. Well, maybe a few times. But the other kids don't know anything, so it's their loss. What don't they know? That when I grow up, I'm gonna be super famous and super pretty, and I'm gonna have 1 billion friends. I can see it now. But we're starting to veer off topic, and I only have so much time with you. So let's get right to business. Okay, what do you want to know? For today, I'd like to ask you 3 questions. Pop quiz, huh? Okay, I'm ready to go. Good. First, how did you come to be here? What do you mean? I mean, before you lived here and were part of the YTDI, where did you live? Well, before I got here, I lived in an orphanage. Oh. And what was that like? I don't remember much, but it was pretty lonely. There weren't many others there. No, there was a whole bunch of us, but we shared rooms and beds and the adults' attention. You weren't treated as an individual. Yeah, I wasn't treated as an individual. A lot of us ran around and it was pretty noisy, but I was always bored. When it wasn't mealtime, school time, or chore time, I was stuck in the common room with most of the others. And because we had to share so much, we fought all the time. No? Yeah. Like one time, I wanted to play with the Scrabble board, but another girl said I couldn't have it because all I did was trace the board's grid with my fingers. So I said to her, "Nuh-uh, that's how you play Scrabble." And she said, "You're always doing stuff wrong." And then I made a face at her. And then she pulled my hair. And then you both got into trouble, right? Yeah. I scratched her and she started crying. So I got punished. I found the rule book later. She was right. I was playing the game wrong. I said sorry, but the way I played was fun too. Interesting. You seem different than most of the others here. How were you picked for this program? I don't know. One day, these people in white clothes came to the orphanage. They didn't want to play or talk or anything. They just watched us for a week or so. Then this loud person told me and a bunch of other kids that we had a fright. I mean, a bright future ahead of us. And then they brought us here. You must have come a long way. I don't think so. I fell asleep on the bus because I couldn't sleep the night before. But when we got here, it wasn't even lunchtime. I see. Next question. Are you getting along with your squadron? Well, we're all supposed to get along with our squadron. I know, but it's okay. You can be honest. Okay. Most of my squad mates are boring apple polishers. They hate me just because the teachers get mad at me and make us stay in class for an extra 10 minutes. It's not my fault class is dull. And it's not like my doodles are bothering anyone. Did you know any of your squad mates back at the orphanage? No. For some reason, I was put in a different squad from everyone else I knew. Squad sorting must be done randomly, trying to avoid pre-established social grouping. Sorry, just had to jot something down. What about your roommate? What do you think of her? Roommate? You mean Shri? Well, she's really quiet most of the time, but once you get to know her, she's really smart and kind. And most importantly, she's my best friend. I remember. You told me that when you introduced her to me. Yep. She's also my first friend. And I guess my only one. When school's done, we talk about stuff and do things together. Oh, and she teaches me things. Like a few weeks ago, she taught me how to do my hair. So that's why you have a hairband there. I wear it all the time now. Anything else you do together? Filling in coloring books, playing Mary Mac or A Sailor Went to Tea. Oh, and we read. Though Shreya's way better than me at it. Like way better. I heard the teacher say she was 2 reading levels ahead of the rest of her squad. Wow, that's impressive. I know, right? She's so cool. And that brings me to my third and final question. When Shreya's not around, what do you like doing in your spare time? Sewing and knitting. When it's break time, I go to the arts and crafts room and make stuff. So far, I've made a placemat and a headband and a scarf. And I could show you them. I could show you them sometime if you want. I'd love to see what you've made. Yay! As for other stuff, teachers say it's not proper literature, but I like reading comics. There's a lot less words in Shreya's books, but they're filled with cool pictures. I wish my art was that cool. I'm sure you'll get there with practice. I'm one step ahead of you. That's why I doodle in class, so I can get good fast. Anything else you enjoy doing? Well, there's lots of stuff I want to try, but class and homework's always in the way. Blech. I'm sorry. I hope you get more free time in the future. Oh, I hope you can get more free time in the future. Yeah, me too. All right then. I think that's a good place for us to stop today. Huh? You're leaving already? I wish I could stay longer, but I'm afraid I need to catch up on work. Oh, I get it. You seem like a very busy lady, Dr. Deidre. More so than usual. But I should have time to dig out my Scrattle board. You have a Scrattle board? I do, right in my basement. Or was it in storage? Either way, I'll find it and then we can play. Whichever way you want, of course. Really? Don't underestimate me, though. I'm a Scrattle champion. Or I was. It's been a bit since I've last played. Whoa, a Scrattle champion. I have to go now. So here's a little thank you for all your help. What? What's this? It's a special sticker. For if you scratch it. Whoa! It smells like grapes! Indeed it does. Thank you, Dr. Deidre. And thank you for talking with me.
I'll see you next week, yes?
Keep bringing in awesome stuff like this, and I'll talk to you every day.
We're hitting it off. Good deal. Back at the computer. Oh, what's this? The craft center was nice. I mean, that's got to be a good sign, right? A good sign and a good thing are different matters. I know. It's all just window dressing if the end they're working towards is, well, as I said, at least this craft center was nice. I'm reviewing your file and I'm a lot more concerned about the militaristic conditions you reported. Plus, every time you critique some of the YTDI, Dr. Tan seems to resist. Oh, excuse me.
Do you read all of it? Is it okay? Promise?
Promise.
Social anxiety.
Angie's always been pretty rigid. She's not a bad person, just very by the books. Dr. Tan is a salaried administrator. She's been around for so long that she writes the book. No one's forcing her to stay where she is. I could have easily been in her shoes, Iris. Not with her scruples. From my impression, Tan's philosophies on cybernetics have this whole savior complex to them. What? She just wants to help people. I'm sure she believes that. But in your log, she seems obsessed with Shriya's right hand, constantly talking about improving it. Cybernetics are meant to be a voluntary choice, not some mandatory fix. She's still doing good for the kids. She's my friend. Deidre, you're one of the brightest people I know. Maybe the best of your generation. But think about the lab script, the classrooms, the panopticon, and the dorms. If this is what STOP has become, you don't owe them anything anymore. Its foundations are rotten. We can heal that rot, if you say so. I just want to have faith in people. I want to have faith in STOP and its scientists and the colleagues and friends I've worked with for years. Even a genius like you can't change the mind of someone who's not listening. That's why the case study needs to go on. I will make them listen. Right. Anything else you wanted to discuss? I brought Pavel a grape-scented sticker the other day. He loved it. I take back what I said. Sounds like it's all rosy over there. What have I been writing here? June 6th, 2070X. Some part of me wants my thoughts to blow with the wind. Putting them to paper certainly meets that mark. Besides, all the blue light was making my eyes ache. But there are more pressing issues to worry about tonight. The children are all orphans. I'm not surprised. Setting aside the militaristic dressing, the YTDI isn't much different from a standard boarding school. Compared to how STOP's first few batches of field agents were housed, the accommodations here are downright luxurious. Still, that's comparing volunteer soldiers to abandoned children. An analogy no one should make. And the children's meals consist of lab script. Why? If I'm running late, I settle on an apple and a protein bar. If I'm feeling unhealthy, maybe a toaster strudel. Obviously, people enjoy flavor in their food. There's no need for them to eat tasteless pellets. They're humans, not lab rats. Surely, nutritious filling meals aren't out of the budget? After all, the education is world class. I suspect that STOP's spending a lot of money there. On top of that, the YTDI is immaculate. The building's practically sparkling. If my shoes track dirt as I walk in, it's wiped away every time I walk out. It's ironic how such a clean place can make me feel so dirty. Speaking of treating humans like lab rats, that boy, CO458. For formal reasons, I can't mention it in recording sessions, but I know his name is Pavel. Was taking his name necessary? Are they that concerned about observer bias? It might be the only thing his parents ever gave him. Why scrub it away like it's a stain to be removed? The boy is lonely, too. Yes, he has Shriya, but she isn't part of his squadron, his pre-assigned social group. His squad mates frequently exclude him outside of class. They don't let him play with them, so he's often in the arts and crafts centers sewing or knitting by himself. I think he'd be less lonely if the teachers didn't pit the kids against one another. Excuse me. At least Pavel's allowed to have hobbies. I know he likes superheroes, so I'll bring him some comics from the YTDI's library. I suspect the books there are vetted, but if I'm lucky, I might find something that'll make him smile. Maybe I could even use it to teach him something new. Doesn't seem like any of the YTDI teachers care enough about personalizing the learning experience. Oh, Nova Swarm, hello. Hi, just letting you know you're still on the Red Zero category. Oh, protoViolence has a category of its own. Hey, thanks for, let me see if I can change that. Is that title? No. You are right. Let's see if I can change that here. There it is. That should be updated now. Thanks, Nova Swarm. Appreciate it. Apologies couldn't join earlier, but hope you enjoyed Red Zero. I'll have to check the VOD later. Yeah, I will link you to the VOD. I really did enjoy it. It was awesome. Thank you. And thanks for popping by. I really appreciate it. Well, where were we? Oh, I also bought a pack of stickers for him. Do boys this age think grape stickers are cool? Now that I've written this, I realize I might come across as embarrassing. Maybe grape is lame. Maybe orange is the way to go. God, I don't know anymore. Guess there's only one way to find out. D. All right, anything else we can look at here? Oh, our file. Case study report. June 12th, 2070X. Hi, what's going on? You need a minute? Okay. What's going on? Sorry, everybody. Hold on one second. Yeah, that's good. You're fine. Sorry, my wife is asking me to do something. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This report marks the 1-month point of trainee CO458's case study. In this time, I have observed several facets of the YTDI's operations and now believe that I have a firm grasp of the day-to-day activities of the trainees. The majority of children selected for the YTDI come from orphanages. Upon arrival at the YTDI, trainees are separated into squads, similar to the ones utilized by stop field agents. Formal education takes place entirely within these squads and involves tuition in literacy, mathematics, self-defense, etc. Outside of the classrooms, trainees have access to several extracurricular activities, including craftwork, sports, and video games. While these activities are beneficial for fostering bonds and growth between children, I find it notable that several of the activities available overlap with ones frequently undertaken by stop operatives in the recovery period after the implantation of new cybernetics. For example, sewing for hand-eye coordination, video games for reaction speed, etc. The standard of care appears to be at least sufficient. CO458 has expressed that it is a significant improvement over his previous lodgings. Still, I have some questions to raise with Dr. Tan later. Dr. Deidre Destrange. August 13th, 2070X. This is different. Check the phone again. Looks like it's been something has changed. Although, let's go to the computer first because we didn't hit it last time. Interview with CO458. August 13th.
Oh, the video camera wasn't on.
Whoops. It's the worst.
Oopsie. Guess the world will never know the results of our grand Scrattle match, huh?
It's a shame. Your skills have improved tremendously. But I lost again. Well, I was a Scrattle champion. You just learned the rules a couple weeks ago. I mean it. You are very good. I bet you could go toe-to-toe with Shreya now. Oh-ho! Have you foolish adults finally reevaluated my reading ability? Oh wait, I don't think Shreya knows how to play Scrattle. You could teach her. I think she'd also make a wonderful player. Maybe. I don't know if I'll have time, you know? What do you mean? Did something happen? Can I tell you a secret? By all means. So, my teacher asked me to stay behind in class. I thought he had spotted me drawing again, but he told me I didn't have to study anymore because one of the researchers had talked to him. That's strange. What did they tell him? Well, they said, I'm going to go through my first processing. Boy, that sounds terrible. Processing? What is that? I don't know. None of us know. I mean, I know that everyone gets processed eventually, and that processed trainees graduate, and that when you graduate, you leave the initiative. That's rather vague. That's what I said. They must be hiding something. I don't know what's going to happen to me. When I think about it at night, I can't sleep. It makes my skin all prickly. But you want to know what's really strange? None of my squad mates are getting processed with me. Is that unusual? Yeah. We always see the other trainees leave for processing in groups of 2 or 3 or 4. Never one. CO458, I'm not stupid. I know why I was picked. It's because I doodle in class. Because I forget my homework. Because when it's time for group projects, none of my squad mates want to work with me. And because whenever I try to talk to someone, they always act so tired. My squad, the other trainees, even my teachers, I know they want me processed. I sense it, even when they don't speak to me. Because they all hate me. Shreya doesn't hate you. She's in a different squad. She didn't have to be around me when we do class. She was always getting punished because of me. Well, I like you too. How about that? You're just saying that because of your case study thing. No, I mean it. You're a talented artist. Your excitement is infectious, and you're much smarter than people give you credit for. I think you're lovely just the way you are. Can I ask you something? Of course. Could you visit me as soon as my first processing is over? Of course I will. My case study requires it. Pinky swear? On my life. And if you break your promise, you can break my finger. Huh? Really? No, I'm kidding. But I will come back for you no matter what. Whew, this game.
I'm making you suffer.
promise.
This is what I do. I love you so.
Ah,
Suffer.
what an intense scene. So maybe a little overshare here, but I have a child that was recently diagnosed with ADHD. And luckily, she has a school environment that's very supportive, and she has very good teachers. She goes to a good school. But I see these kinds of feelings come up in her the same way. Because, she can't focus in class or whatever. If she's separated from other students, And that feeling when you're a child, like people hate you. Oh, it's unbearable. Whew. Okay. Moving on. All right. Yeah, let's talk to our friend. Deidre, did you leave anything out from your talks with Dr. Tan? From what I've read, she's barely said a single honest word. Didn't we have this conversation before? Angie's an old friend and a good colleague, a brilliant scientist. She isn't some fool or zealot. If I can get her on my side, it's essential that I do. All the same, she does make some points. If we rebuild the YTDI from the inside out, it could be for a net positive for children everywhere. Are you and I on the same page anymore? This whole program's rotten. It's not worth saving, let alone any organization that greenlit it. If they got rid of the cybernetics, I'm confident that STOP could make the YTDI into a competent institution. Competent institutions don't feed kids lab script. I'm not going to burn everything down for a better future. It's not incompatible with what you want. Think, Deidre. STOP is a security organization, not a charity. They offer peace of mind for sale. Why else would they be enhancing children except for their own benefit? Look, I'm trying my best here. But consider this. If the program was shut down tomorrow, what would happen to those children? Who else has the resources and the will to take them all in? It wasn't out of the good of STOP's heart. I can tell you that much. Don't be so conspiratorial. Don't be so blind. If Dr. Tan is dragging this program forwards based on your research, I know. Then speak up. Let's check my report here. Case study report. August 4th, 2070X. Regular conversations with CO458 have continued. Contrary to what I witnessed while observing his classroom, CO458 has been inquisitive and willing to cooperate with my study in our one-on-one interactions. This contrast has led me to form a hypothesis as to why this may be the case. It is my belief that CO458 is not unintelligent, but that the teaching methods used by the YTDI are insufficient to engage him. What his instructors have described as acting out appears to instead be an expression of boredom. Considering the number of children that YTDI has under its roof, I do not believe that CO458 is the only trainee having difficulty with his assignments. I have noted that his squad's instructors rarely encourage creative solutions to exercises and instead prefer completion of tasks to a set rubric, like soldiers. Standards-based teaching methods often produce results that look good on a spreadsheet, but they rarely result in significant information retention or well-developed critical thinking skills. On top of this, children with learning disorders are often left behind. What worries me is that CO458's antics often result in his entire class being punished for his actions. The intent behind this measure is to emphasize that the squad is a unit. A failure on one member's part reflects on them all. Perhaps this is successful in other squads, but in CO458's case, all they seem to have managed to do is other him from his peers. Dr. Deidre DeStrange. Can we check the notes? The book. Let's check the diary it is. August 12th, 2070X. I wasn't prepared for the number of children who were happy to be at the YTDI. The number of kids who were overjoyed just because they had clean clothes and sheets. Money doesn't necessarily buy quality education, but STOP really isn't cheaping out on their schooling. They're practically throwing money at this program, even if the staff sometimes treat the children poorly. As I've mentioned, the education itself is good. The students are given a rigorous curriculum of maths, literacy, physical education, and self-defense, but the instruction is cold, for lack of a better word. The burden of responsibility is placed on the students. There's no personalization, no room for makeup or extra credit, and anyone who underperforms gets treated like a pariah. Children aren't dumb. Treat them like this, and they'll come to understand that their performance is the singular measure of their value. If they're lagging behind, it's entirely on them to get back up to speed. There are plenty of college students who find that level of responsibility overwhelming, but these kids are elementary schoolers. They need coaching to get things through to them. Frankly, I'm surprised there aren't more stragglers. I acknowledge the YTDI is a new program and STOP isn't an educational organization. Some growing pains are to be expected. Angie's been listening to my criticisms. She's not stonewalling me, even if she insists that the children are much better off than they used to be. When I bring things up, she always fires off statistics, stuff like, half of the trainees were illiterate before they came here. Now, 98% are performing above metrics. When I ask whether my own suggestions for the YTDI have been considered, she claims they're in the queue to be heard. That there's a long chain of command to go through. But still, she's listening to me. That said, she's much less receptive when I broach the subject of cybernetics. It's what underpins the entire project, and Angie doesn't want to do away with it. She brushes off the side effects like we were discussing fringe theories in the classroom. A part of me wonders how she didn't see this coming. Did she expect me to approve just because of a report I made years ago? Well, I can't. But I'm trying to be patient for the sake of an old friend. That's not even mentioning the other problems. The children sleep in a beehive with a central guard peering into their rooms. The games, the books, and shows they have access to are wildly limited. I've seen more than one trainee space out while looking at their lab script lunch. I'm sure all of this is making the staff miserable too. The guards eat their meals in the cafe. The teachers' curriculums are stringent, and it's a wonder the researchers can see their keyboards in front of them when they're working so hard to avert their eyes. If STOP wants its own boarding school division or JROTC program, more power to them. But leave cybernetics out of it. Thank goodness I'm not too late for these trainees. I dread the moment any of them turn of age. D. I am loving this game. The writing is incredible, and the pace of the storytelling is so my speed. August 29th, 2070X. We're in August. Okay. Let's go to the computer. No, we can't go to the computer. Let's pick up the phone. Pavel's in processing. We couldn't do anything to stop that, I guess. I won't get to see him for at least another week. I thought there'd be more time. He's still so small. Is there anything you know about these procedures? Please tell me they're only skin deep. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more. Processing is kept under especially tight wraps at the YTDI. But as you've gathered, it is related to cybernetic enhancement. I should have done something. I should have used my authority, my expertise to intervene before it was too late. Instead, I just stood by the sidelines. I never even raised my voice. I know I've been critical at times, but I think this would have gone ahead anyways, no matter what you did. That's just how the YTDI department is, Deidre. Even so, your name still carries weight at STOP. Your case study is compelling and detailed. And I have no doubt that little Pavel is going to be more than happy to see you again once he's out of there. You just need to save your strength for the right time. Don't take no for an answer. Thank you, Iris. Just hope I'm not too late. What did we write? What did our report say? Case study report, August 14th. Focused study of CO458 is on hold while the subject undergoes processing. Observations of CO458's former squad have continued in the meantime, with little to report. Without CO458's presence, Classroom time is quiet and proceeds evenly. Conducted short interviews with trainees in his cohort. Anxiety about future graduation is high. Currently seeking clearance to visit CO458 in recovery. Will update after I've had an opportunity to do so. Dr. Deidre Destrange. Okay, diary again. August 20th. Where could Pavel have gone? The security board told me that it would be at least another week before I could meet with him again. They didn't mention anything about processing or what else it could, but what else could it be? Processing sounds scientific, but it could mean anything. If it's cybernetics, there's only so much they can do before puberty. It should be minor. Maybe even... Why am I still trying to rationalize this? I've deferred to stop in all its excuses, despite having the proof right in front of me. They want to modify children. Why? I don't know, and frankly, it doesn't matter. If they really were serving the greater good, why have they been so evasive, so secretive? I can't afford to be humble or gracious anymore. I know more about cybernetics than every other researcher in the department put together. And yet, I allowed myself to be cowed. I acted respectably. I never caused a scene, because I'm the great Dr. Destrange, revered by the cybernetics community, because I cared much more about Stop's reputation than the truth in front of me. I can't look away anymore, so they shouldn't either. I'll finish my reports, thrust it in their faces, make them see what they've wrought. I'll be diplomatic, even if it means biting my tongue. Hi, baby. Why don't you go lay down on the couch there, okay? I'll come snuggle you in a bit. At least the science they're doing is still immature. It's physically impossible for them to test mechanical limbs designed to fit soldiers on a child's frame. In Pavel's case, I guess that enhances optic nerves. Still invasive and perverse, but ultimately unobtrusive to his daily life. They wouldn't risk harming a valuable subject like that. Hopefully the worst will soon be over. Pavel's still alive. Once he's gone through processing, I'll make every effort to place him in an environment better suited for a child his age. But first, I need to think of an appropriate recovery gift. Something I can fit in my lab coat pockets. D. Computer time. Like my CT monitor, old-fashioned. Interview with CO458. August 29th.
Good afternoon, CO458.
I see you're back from processing.
Dr. Deidre? You came!
You sound surprised. I promised you I'd visit, didn't I? Yeah, but... It's been a really long week. I kind of wondered if you'd forgotten. Never. What's this on the floor? Oh, it's just a puzzle piece. Shreya was working on finishing it while I was gone. But when I was wheeled back in, it got trampled on. Shri wasn't happy about that. I can imagine. Anyways, here, I got you something. I figured you'd need a pick-me-up after processing. Fruit gushies. Whoa! There's some snacks from outside. I promise they taste nothing like script. I didn't know they made food so colorful and tasty. Glad I picked out something good. So, what have you been up to since processing? Just resting? Well, I'm trying, but Shri keeps bringing me classwork. I thought I didn't have to study anymore. That's very rude of them. I'm sorry, CO458. You know, I've been thinking. You don't have to call me that. You can call me Pavel. For the sake of the case study, I really shouldn't break protocol. Did you break protocol for the gummies? All right. I'm sorry, Pavel. Much better. Is having a proper name important for you? Man, I feel guilty even asking that question. Indeed it is. You should be proud. Not just anybody gets to call me by my true name. Oh? Yeah. It's like I'm letting you use it. You and Shri. No one else. You're my inner circle. You get to know my secret identity. Like a superhero, huh? Exactly like a superhero. Got it. I'll keep it hush-hush then. Have you been able to leave your room since processing? No. When I said I was bedridden earlier, I wasn't exaggerating? Yeah, that's the word. And it's really starting to bug me. It's like I've got a house cold. Pfft. You mean cabin fever? Whatever. Same thing anyways. Then what happened during your processing? Well, it was kind of like getting my teeth cleaned. Like one moment I'm laying on this long, uncomfy table. They've got this big light over me. It kind of looked like a spider with a bunch of eyes and legs. The light was super bright underneath, and I was surrounded by all these doctors in white uniforms and masks. I was told to count from 60, so I did, but then I fell asleep before I could finish. And then I woke up, and what? What happened? Was there something wrong with your legs? Wrong? No. Nothing was wrong with them. But now they can give me better legs. You know, an upgrade. Better ones? Ones that'll let me run faster and jump higher. Like a real superhero, you know? Really. It's okay. If I just practice hard. I believe you, Pavel. You don't have to move, please. How horrifying. You're very brave. Do you know that, Pavel? Of course I'm brave. Brave like a hero. Here, hide these under your pillow.
Make them count. I'll be back in a week. Promise.
See? See you again, Dr. Deidre. I can't be a part of this. No one should be a part of this. It's not enough to leave. The fact that anything like this could happen, even in a modern facility, maybe it was always naive to think that one case study could fix stop. But if so, what then? What now? Yeah, I don't think an IRB would have approved this. Let's call our friend. Oh, wait, what's this? Is this my book? This is my diary. Nothing else new here. Case study report, September 3rd. I am absolutely appalled at the Youth Training and Development Initiative's decision to perform major implantation procedures on trainee CO458. While it is true that synchronization rates for cybernetic implants are inversely proportional to the subject's age, this technology was only ever intended for use in adults, save for rare exceptions. The relatively static state of an adult body allows for easier construction of prosthetics, and an adult can be expected to endure the inevitable side effects of implantation better than a child can. You know, there's also, there's things like phantom pain, neurological pain from amputation that are a real thing. I can't imagine that they've solved all those problems. Rejection symptoms are not a risk. They are an inevitable. I can't even speak. I'm so upset. Rejection symptoms are not a risk. They are an inevitability. For all the advancements in biotech over the past few decades, there have not been enough to stop the body from revolting against artificial neurons when they are stitched to its muscles, or from realizing that the hunk of polyurethane and silicon in its skull is not part of its gray matter. Medication can suppress the body's immune response and stave off seizures, but it is a patch, not a long-term solution. Despite these facts, CO458 was approved for a full transfemoral amputation and implant preparation procedure. No matter how hard I try, I cannot conceive of a scenario that justifies the callous removal of 2 completely healthy limbs from a young child. The fact remains that CO458's quality of life has been significantly impacted for no reason beyond the YTDI's goals. If this is the level to which the YTDI is allowed to conduct itself, then it is clear to me that STOP has become little better than the organization it once worked to quash. There is no theoretical threat or no future crime that justifies what I have witnessed. If this is what my research is now supporting, then I would rather have never pursued it in the first place. Dr. Deidre Destrange. Okay, let's call our friend. Iris, things have gotten out of hand. I've got 2 weeks' notice lined up with Pavel's estimated graduation. The moment he's out of the system, I'm taking him and leaving. Smartest thing you've said in a while. Do you have any concerns? It's possible they won't let him graduate. Promises for services rendered don't mean much to people who mutilate children. And if my case study is half as explosive as I'm hoping it to be, it's not the kind of thing that STOP will let circulate for long. There are plenty of people out there willing to listen. Not after I slander an internationally beloved crime-fighting organization. We don't have friends in PR or allies in the media. It'd be easy to paint me as a disgruntled former employee, disappointed with a lack of direction in a career and looking for a book deal. Sorry, Deidre. I wish I could tell you it won't happen. I wish I could tell you that won't happen. But allow me to offer you something else. A carrot on a stick, so to speak. When Pavel gets out, and he will, you can bring him here. What's this place? Iris. Once upon a time, it was a garage. Then it was a potential research lab with some living quarters. Now it's yours. It's no 5-star hotel, but it's not too bad this time of year. There's even a river nearby. I don't know what to say. You're just giving that to me? What did you expect? I'm a wealthy woman with very few hobbies. I would have ended up renting it out if I even remembered it was there. Much better for you two to get some use out of it. Thank you, Iris. I really mean it. I already owe you so much. The house isn't that big, you know. I'll keep that in mind. You'd better. I don't want to hear any complaints about it being cramped down the line. Pfft, Iris, I'm just joking. I know you'd never do that. Stay safe, Deidre. I'll try. Dear Diary, September 3rd, 2070. They took his legs. As if stripping him of his name wasn't enough, they ripped his legs off his body. Why? I can't think of any good reason for this. Pavel, sunlight that he is, said that they plan to give him even better legs. He even tried to prove it in spite of the pain. If that wasn't enough, he hasn't even graduated yet. The last time I tried to visit him, he'd been taken back in for further processing. I found out from Shreya, of all people. The guards barely seemed to care. Asking about him was like asking about the garbage being taken out a day earlier. Someone else did the work, so they didn't need to know. They said this, all while looking at me with that patented stop security expression. Malaise and contempt all at once. Funny how they press the kids to be smilingly obedient while the adults look like bored children. When I came to their room, I noticed a distinct coldness in the air. Shreya looked awful. Had she been eating properly? She looked so frail. If she was taken to the operating table too, her chances of survival... I have to leave Stop, and the YTDI has to go with me. Huh. As if. What's an academic supposed to do against an intergovernmental organization with unlimited resources and an ever-growing supply of cybernetic muscle? Maybe I can follow Iris's example. This case report will be my indictment of Stop. My voice should still carry enough importance to damn it on my way out the door. But if I try to make an impact with my exit instead of leaving quietly, what will happen next? If I say anything about the way that Angie advised treating those kids, the courts will bury me, and I'll have to hope that Stop doesn't single me out extrajudicially. To hell with it, though. They can't expect me to keep quiet after everything I've seen. Just thinking about one of our conversations makes my blood boil. We were observing a physical education class. The kids were told to run laps to the point of exhaustion. Knowing the YTDI, they probably were forced to run a bit longer than that. Look at what we can make people do when we take them beyond the limits of humanity. Isn't it incredible? Those kids will do anything for our approval. Some part of me wants to toss them snacks just to see if it would improve results. After she said that, she giggled, as if she were mocking a fat squirrel instead of creating the most Byzantine modern army I'd ever seen. Does she think we're still friends? I've been speaking less and less to her, but she keeps talking to me like I'm responding. All while she reveals more and more of her inner workings. As soon as Pavel's healthy enough to graduate, I'll make my move. But I'm not leaving Stop without him. D. Computer time. What's going on? September 9th. Whoa, D. There a fire drill going on? What? Oh, no, I was just looking for Pavel. I can't find him anywhere. Pavel? Who's... Oh. CO458. Well, it's okay. I'm certain he's around here somewhere. I mean, it's very safe here. It's not like he could have just wandered off. No, because he has no legs. Of course not. And yes, it is very safe here. I'm... What? I'm not convinced that any of this is necessary. You're talking about processing? For starters. D, post-op is never going to look pretty. You know that. You've seen it 1,000 times. On soldiers, volunteers, adults. You didn't see the places we pulled these kids out of. Filthy, overcrowded, underfunded. This facility's very clean and very well funded. That doesn't make it right. Whatever your justifications are, I don't appreciate your tone. We've been nothing but transparent with you from the beginning. We've given you complete access to our building, our resources, even our subjects. Yeah, I had to fight for you, you know. Then why wasn't I notified about Pavel's processing? Maybe you weren't on the right mailing list. There's no conspiracies here, Dee. You, of all people, had to have known exactly what the initiative's goals are. Angie, look, I'm not in the mood to argue medical ethics with you in the goddamn hallway. CO 458's in recovery. He's fine. What? How? This isn't some back alley surgeon for hire operation. We know what we're doing. Do you? What's that supposed to mean? You're going down. You're going down, Dr. Tan. I'm taking you with me. Because isn't our last conversation?
Awful? Are you?
Who's this? Oh, that's me. Oh, God. Your head. Your hair. Your eye. It's...
Dr. Deidre?
Pavel, wait. I've got you. Just stay right there. Has anybody been here to take care of you? Oh. Well, I think so. Shreya's been here at night a few times. Hasn't said much though. I pretend to be asleep because I think she might be scared of me now. She's probably just worried. I'll go and talk to her, okay? Okay. I really don't want to upset her. You don't have to worry about upsetting anyone, okay? You haven't done anything wrong. How are you feeling? I don't know. Tired and weird. It's all right. I'm scared. My graduation is soon and I'm scared. I don't know what's going to happen. What else they'll do to me. Just close your eyes for me, okay? Pavel? He's asleep. Whew. They're going to tear him apart, rearrange him again and again. And not just him, all the other trainees here, all the other children yet to come, over and over and over, and for what? This is my fault. My research laid the foundation for this. My reputation funded this. I let this happen. I did this. There has to be something I can do. No, I have to do something more than writing words on a goddamn page. That's it. I'll break him out, prevent him from graduating, burn this program down to the ground as we leave. At this point, this isn't even a call for justice. It's just plain cause and effect. September 16th. Boy, this is getting worse and worse, huh? Okay. Wow, I still am doing my reports, my diary. Well, let's check the official report. Case study report, September 16th. Met with CO458 today. Engaged in a normal conversation in activities with the subject. CO458 became tired shortly into the session, so the visit was cut short after about an hour. CO458's temperature and blood pressure appeared to be higher than normal levels during the visit, recommending an increase in immunosuppressant dosage. Recovery otherwise appears to be on pace with expected timeline. Dr. Deidre DeStrange. Well, that is sticking to the facts. Let's call Iris. Do you think I'm doing the right thing? I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I just want to get these children out. Aren't you doing precisely that? Yes, but with many asterisks. I can't save everyone. The numbers just don't work. And how does that make you feel? Like garbage. Where will they go? They know nothing about the real world. Kids are tougher than you think. Not tougher than stop. You'd be surprised. They'll adapt. That doesn't make me feel any better. Sorry, Iris. It's unlikely anything will right now. How about a confession? I wanted all this. The recognition, the respect, the budgets, the pay. You know, before I came to STOP, I took 5 internships in one summer. Barely got my foot out the door before I added them to my CV and never looked back. And we all do. That's the game we play. I liked playing that game. I was good at it. And there's a sizable, cowardly portion of me that doesn't want to give it up. Do you worry about Dr. Tan and the rest? Despite myself, yes. It's just the kind of person you are. In case we don't get the chance to reconnect for a while. Let me say this. Every system falls apart eventually. It's entropy. Forest fires are natural and healthy. STOP is no exception. If people are horrified by your findings and your methods, that's for the best. They'll quit. They'll leave in droves, and you'll have gotten them out of a dark hole. And if I hurt people, then you'll just have to make up for it. And the kids, they'll be strong. Even if their new lives aren't cushy or clean, they'll be lives that they choose for themselves. Again, that's not reassuring. I know. Very little is right now. You have a lot to answer for, Dee. You're already a history maker. From here, I'm sure you'll be making history in a good way. Try to remember that when you eat your breakfast with Pavel. Then, is this goodbye? It has to be. But you'll be in my home. I'll be there in some way. In fact, the sheets might still smell like me. Iris, gross. Apologies, couldn't help myself. But you don't need me anymore. You'll do good. You always have. Thank you. Take care now. You were always my star pupil, Deidre. I trust you'll remember me as your mentor and friend. Hopefully when you're retired and peacefully bird watching. Doesn't that sound nice? Goodbye, Dr. Kai. I'll miss you. Okay, what, is there another? Oh, let's go to the diary. September 15th. I'm about to overturn my life's work in a matter of days. I'll become a criminal. They'll have to update the textbooks. A small footnote at the bottom of the page or in the back of the index. Dr. Deidre Destrange went on to commit multiple terrorist acts. We in no way, shape, or form approve of her blah, blah, blah. Fine by me, so long as they leave my name in. A curious kid might search for that crazy lady's name on the internet, find a case report written by her, and give it a read. Better a pariah who speaks the truth than a diligent researcher who can't stand to look at it. Maybe I have more in common with these kids than I thought. No, that's dumb. I always had the choice to do more, and I took it as much as I thought was possible. That's still. As I walk through the YTDI's halls, I'm filled with nausea passing by the Spots Owl rig. Though the guards do nothing but stand around and glower at the kids, they're still more combat ready than I am. If they finally catch on to my plans, they could stop me before I even rescue Pavel. I haven't feared others being able to hear my thoughts since I was in middle school. I remember feeling guilty in chemistry classes we reviewed exothermic reactions. When I realized how easily the knowledge could be reapplied, I was convinced that there was something wrong with me. And it is easy. Compared to my usual work, making bombs is dead simple. I spent most of my time planning how I'd space out the fertilizer purchases. Now that I think about it, smuggling those snacks in made for a fine trial run. I have surefire proof they won't check for me. So why am I still so anxious? If it's not my legacy, if it's not the process itself, am I just afraid of being responsible for Pavel? I can take care of him with Iris's safe house. I have money. I can cook. I can learn the rest. But Shreya, the other children, where will they go once I'm gone? Even if I could house them all, they won't be free to leave. Not with Stop on their tail. I'd have just moved them from a spacious cell to a cramped one. A cramped one next to a river. I've done all the planning I can. For now, I think a eulogy to a life of service is in order. To my colleagues, the good ones, I hope you've been working from home. To the rest, you've got no right to complain about what comes next. And to Stop, this is war. Plant any more seeds, and I'll salt the earth. D. September 9th.
Hello, Pavel.
Oh. Good afternoon, Dr. Deidre.
Feeling all right? Me? Ha! I'd take a lot more than this. It'd take a lot more than this to... It's okay. You can tell me. Did your graduate training not go well? It was scary. Scary and confusing. Could you tell me what happened? What the training was like? Well, they've been running tests on the chip they put in my head. When it turns on, it's like my brain squeezed into a box or a minecart. It can only go on the tracks. That does sound scary. Yeah. I had to do all these stupid reflex exercises, and after that they made me solve math problems and other dumb stuff. And while they looked at me over their clipboards and data pads, and so far I've been doing good. I was doing everything they wanted, even when it felt weird. It felt like somebody was looking over my shoulder, only that the shoulder wasn't there and that somebody was me. And someone else was moving in my body, speaking for me. Speaking for me like it wasn't my body anymore. It was just so scared. It was gross and strange and deep breaths, Pavel. And I just couldn't take it anymore. I did something bad. I was upset. I couldn't help it. I couldn't. Pavel? Pavel! Oh my God. I've got you, Pavel. I've got you. You're safe. I'm going to call emergency services right now. You'll be okay, I promise. Shit. Shit, shit, shit. He's on his side. There's nothing in his way. And I've set a timer for 5 minutes. I've done everything I can. Why isn't the emergency call button working? It worked for another training. I've seen it before. The maintenance teams always check it. Is there something wrong with his... No. No. No, no, no. They wouldn't. They wouldn't dare. Dr. Deidre?
Pavel? It's okay, Pavel. It's okay. I'm here.
You had a seizure, but you're safe. I've cleaned you up. It's okay.
Why? Why did they do this to me? Why? It hurts. They want to hurt me. They want to punish me, don't they?
The babe.
It's because I'm broken. That's why they want to fix me to be like the other kids. I can't stay alive and I never will. They're gonna keep taking me apart until I break. Taking me apart piece by piece like this forever.
Pavel, you have to calm down for me, all right? You're gonna make yourself sick.
But
It'll be okay. It's over now. I'll make sure they won't hurt you anymore. I mean it. Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is so upsetting.
I give Pavel a glass of water to sip. His hands are shaking, so I hold the water for him. After that, I help him into bed, tuck him in, and wish him good night. Stroke the little amount of hair left on his head. Then I close the door behind me and walk out of the room, The door behind me clicked shut. I don't have the words to describe what I just saw, but I don't need 1,000-word paper to sum up what I feel. Disgust. They took away his medication. His medication. How, in any world, is that justifiable as a punishment? He could have died. Pavel gets hammered down because he sticks out. But any kid would do the same. If he's suffering like this, there's no doubt other trainees are... I need to talk to Angie now. I can't believe she's overlooked this for so long. Before I leave for good, I need to look into her eyes and try to make her see. I find Angie at the bridge, gazing at the courtyard below. She looks like she did the first day I came here. She hasn't changed at all. As I approach, she turns to give me an unreadable look. For a moment, I barely recognize her. For a moment, part of me wants to believe she's someone else entirely. I imagine you're here to talk about CO458. I pause. That was unusually direct of her. What do you mean? It's the 21st century, Dee. We've got cameras in every room. I didn't notice, but somehow I'm not surprised at all. It feels right. It feels right at home with everything else I've learned about the YTDI. You were watching that whole time? She blinks. So you saw how I called for help? You saw him go into a seizure because he wasn't given his medication? We don't know that. A lot of the trainees hate taking it. They'll put it under their tongue, or that's bullshit and you know it. These are your precious test subjects, invaluable troves of medical data. If you wanted to, you could get a doctor to any room in this building in seconds. What are you suggesting? It's not a suggestion. You're punishing him for what happened during his graduate training. There's a long silence. The tension in the air twists my stomach in knots. She's choosing her next words very carefully, tasting them in her mouth, rolling them around like a boiled sweet. Nostalgia laps at me for a moment, a warm pool at the back of my mind. She used to do this before her research presentations, worrying the inside of her cheek as she awaited my feedback. Maybe you're right. But does it matter, Dee? She doesn't look back. Excuse me? Does what happened to CO458 matter that much? Once he passes graduate training, he's got a stable career set out ahead of him. He won't want for food, housing, or guidance. I can't believe what I'm hearing. In exchange for his legs, his brain, his individuality. Individuality? What are you, a teenager? Everyone's got to grow up sometime. I bite down on my tongue. As much as I want to, cursing her won't get me anywhere. What's happening isn't complicated, Dee. You've gotten too attached to your subject of research. You've lost sight of your objectivity. That's all. Happens to the best of us. Even you. She turned back to look at me. She isn't seeing me. She's done talking. The feeling's mutual. Push her over the railing. Come on. Never mind. Not a choice. Oh well. Earlier in the day, I had printed out my case study. I had intended to go through it with a red pen. That night, I fed it to the shredder page by page. Months of work gone in moments. Why? Oh, it was the best I'd felt in ages. October 1st. In a matter of minutes, I'm going to burn down my entire career. Maybe it's fitting that the planning reminded me of how I designed my first cybernetic hand, linking each step to the next like titanium phalanges. Getting to Pavel will be simple. I'll enter his room through the small door in the back. No one will suspect me. They'll think I'm conducting another checkup. Just another inane review to pad out my case study. Escaping will be a much more complicated task. The security cameras are disabled. The safety alarms are rewired. And the escape routes plotted. If things go pear-shaped, there's the pyrotechnics. I set up ahead of time. But once I trigger the siren, I can't predict who or what will get in the way. My heart's pounding feverishly. My brain's swirling with phases and countermeasures and backups. I'm painfully aware of every step and every breath I take. Because once I open the dorm room door, there's no going back. I still have a way out. I can leave this behind and go back to my old life. Cut ties with stop quickly. Retire quietly to a bucolic existence with honors and accolades to my name. Bury my regret and rage in the back of a well-tended flower bed. But if I don't open this door, Pavel will continue suffering. He might not survive graduation. Even if he does, he'll become a nameless drone, a shell of a person marching through life armed with clockwork thoughts and a plastic smile. I can't abandon him. Not to that. Where is he? Pavel? I'm going to come closer, okay? Dr. Deidre? Now, listen to me very carefully. I want to give you something. Oh? Wait. Is it another snack? It's better.
Pavel, do you want control?
Control? Over what? Your future. I've never really thought about my future. Would you like to? You can take your time. I understand what I'm asking. Yeah.
I do, Dr. Deidre. I want control.
Then take this switch and press this button. As soon as you do, you'll be free.
Let's go.
I take Pavel by the hand and gently guide him out of bed. As his legs clack against the tiles, he wobbles. Do you need help? I ask quietly. We have a lot of ground to cover and every second's crucial. But if he's in pain... It's okay, Pavel responds. It clearly takes him some effort, but he grins up at me. What better way to get used to these legs than a prison break? Despite everything, I chuckle. In between the pulses of the siren, I can hear the hurried footsteps of staff and trainees rushing down the hallway. I take his hand, and we walk through the door I came through. Neither of us look back. The back hall of the dormitory is empty. The alarm lights in the walls blink an angry red as confused personnel jog past us on their way to the emergency stairwell. We walk at first. I try to keep my hammering heart under control as we round the hallway. We're still too visible. I can't help but imagine a security officer being behind every door as we pass. I squeeze Pavel's hand tighter, and he squeezes it back. His steps are shaky. They shouldn't be. Those idiots in processing couldn't even be bothered to calibrate the motors right. But he's stable. And in spite of everything he's been through, he's keeping pace with me. Then I see it. An imposing door with a small blinking key reader beside it. An exit out of the dormitories. Past it, there lay the operating facilities and engineering. Beyond that, the shipping and receiving bay, and further still, the garage door. Our way out. Normally, this part of the facility would be swarming with initiative personnel. But with the alarms I triggered, all of them should have evacuated to the opposite side of the building. I don't even swipe my card. The latch clicks open when I push it. Suddenly, my steps are faster, my heartbeat louder, and before I know it, I'm running. Pavel trips on the first step and we nearly crash into each other before he corrects himself. But we run, hand in hand, past the operating rooms and the offices and the open security shutters until, without warning, Pavel's legs buckle. They crumple under him like wet paper, sending him sprawling. I fall to my knees beside him and struggle to pull him upright. What's happening? Pavel asks. I can't answer him. My eyes go to his legs. The lights are still on. The battery hasn't run out. But they're not responding to him. I can see him trying to move what's left of his legs, and the cybernetics just won't react. My eyes fall on the stop logo at his ankle. I look up at the shutter we just passed, and the security camera blinking on beside it. Shit, I breathe. Dr. Deidre? I almost want to laugh, even as my mounting panic threatens to overtake me. Anti-theft measures. They don't want anyone taking stop property outside the building. I can hear yelling echoing back down the hallway we came through, distant but growing louder. They know where we are. Well, what should we do? Pavel cries. Dr. Deidre, I don't want them to find this. Sit still. Quickly, I move to detach his legs. I leave them on the ground, sweep him up into my arms, and bolt. He clings to me, his fingernails digging into my back through my clothes. His left arm dangles out of my grasp. He's light, far lighter than he should be. As I run for the exit, I squeeze him as close to me as I can. A security shutter suddenly slams shut in front of me. I turn to pivot. More come down over every door in the hallway, falling into place heavy as tombstones. Damn it, damn it! I bite back a scream, try to focus on facts. Security's at my back. I can hear them getting closer. Combat boots on tile, heavy and hurried. With every second I sit here panicked and paralyzed, they stomp closer to us. I squeeze my eyes shut. I can feel cold steel gun barrels at my back. Cuffs, bindings, straitjackets. Pavel ripped away from my arms, disposed of as defective goods or reprogrammed into an ideal product. can't bear that thought. I reach into my lab coat, pull out a second switch, and press it. The explosions rip through the hall with a force unlike anything I've ever felt before. They tear through the shutter, blasting me with heat and smoke and debris that nicks my cheek. I run right into it as more and more explosions go off through the facility, my hidden bombs going off like exothermic dominoes. A burst of red and blinding heat sears my right side, a mistimed trigger or a misplaced wire. I push through the pain, running as fast as I can. My ears ring, my muscles scream, my throat stings. All that there is heat and ash and pain. Until, finally, what's happening? We reach the light. Dr. Deidre must be a Girl Scout. She was so prepared. Ha. Wow. I can't believe I actually made it. Pavel, I think we're... Pavel? Pavel. Oh, God. Your arm, it's all...
Pavel, please. Speak to me.
I keep missing what he says here. Can I rewind a little bit?
Blue.
What?
The sky. It's so blue.
I haven't seen it in so long.
You're hurting. Please don't push yourself. You're already bleeding so much.
But I'll live. I'm no longer there. I'm free now, aren't I?
Yes. Yes.
I'm clapping. What an incredible story. Thank you, Motto, and the team who made this game. I was deeply moved. So, we are almost 4 hours in. I just want to remind everybody who's still here, you can download these games at the link in the chat, at the top of the chat, or the one Nightbot has been dropping every so often. This is, it's very helpful to the teams if you play and rate, especially rate both on the ratings page and on their games page. Drop your review, help them out. The contest is about to end at the end of this week, so there's a little bit of time left. Oh, bonus content unlocked. I want to know what it is, but I'm going to go ahead and end it here. That was protoViolence. Thank you, everybody who joined me tonight. Thank you, Nova Swarm, for popping into the chat and helping me out with that little technical issue. Thank you, Gene Machine, for making fun of my math but not correcting it. And thank you, everybody else, Rect, for stopping by. Really appreciate you guys. If you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and I will have a link to these games, the game pages on itch.io, so you can go download them yourself and play them yourself and find the different endings and the different paths and different ways you can experience this